Penguin Random House Audio presents The Daughter Ship, a novel, by Boo Trundle. Read for you by X.E. Sands, Justis Bolding, Michael Crouch, Anne-Marie Gideon, Don Harvey, Cassandra Morris, and Sara Morsey. Part 1. Truett. I want to introduce you to my girls. We all live together in a U-boat. Why are we trapped in a German submarine? Because my dad Craig is a World War II buff. We grew up browsing his bookshelves in Virginia Beach. It's a naval town, home to aircraft carriers and battleships. Fighter jets rip the sky above the dunes. Somewhere underwater, and not too deep, is our submarine. A ghost ship, a wreck, a childhood. Ping! That's the sound of the echo sonar, searching for a target. I may not be the smartest kid in the submarine, but I'm the loudest and the strongest, and it's up to me to decide what's true. The others have their own idea of true. Smushed Bug, Star. They have their stories. Smushed Bug says, "There's no such thing as true." I know what's true, I tell her. I know what happened. True to you, she says, is not the same as true. I'll give you a tour of the Untersee boat, and that's the last German word I'll use. Undersea boat. You know the shape, a cigar. I'll start up front. Powered torpedo room and crew quarters, bunk beds soldered into the hull. Officers' quarters, galley kitchen, radio closet, control room. Keep coming, follow me through. Here's the engine room, and then, at the very back, another torpedo room. 220 feet, bow to stern. We're starting this very claustrophobic. Everyone lives on top of each other. There's pressure on every inch of the boat from all that water. Ping! My dad loved to read about Adolf Hitler, Japan, Italy, all that mess. His bookshelf was full of red and black. He also loved boats, cars, tractors, anything with an engine. He spent most of his free time on his back gazing at the underbelly of a car. Dad's garage was a run-down shack, the only structure left when my parents bought the lakefront property. They built an angular, super-mod house, but left the doorless shack in the house's shadow with a dirt floor and one broken window, dusty and jagged. I see myself standing in that dirt in my scouting gear. Khaki shirt, white knee socks, shorts, and a tidy red scarf. I've earned 25 badges, which isn't easy. A humid summer night. Still not dark, though it should have been. I was waiting to say something to my dad, to get his attention. He was under the car, and he didn't like visitors. Why was I out there? Maybe it was time for dinner. He held a greasy black wrench in his hand. He was mad. Something was wrong. Maybe he couldn't fit the connecting rod into the crankshaft. He took his wrench and whacked a pipe. Any old car, Dad could get it going. He had a magical ability to fix his special things, and they were always breaking. There were 3 radios lined up next to each other on a workbench inside the garage. He also had an extra refrigerator out there, where he kept his beer. He tuned all his radios to the same station, a talk show. Dad yelled at callers, every single one as he worked. "Goddamn idiot!" I agreed with his disagreeing. I hated what Dad hated, including Mom. He didn't look up, even after I called out to him, so I went inside the house where it wasn't time for dinner. Mom was upstairs, writhing on the bedroom floor. I didn't like that, whatever it was. Maybe excess energy in her body, an overload to the power station. I wanted nothing to do with it. Dad stuck his name on everything we shouldn't touch. He had a plastic labeling gun, very high-tech. He typed out his initials on stiff pieces of tape so there was no mistaking what was his. Band-Aid box, camera case, glass bottles of Coke. He even labeled his pencils. He moved the tape down as he sharpened them. As soon as I was old enough, I climbed onto a chair, broke into his briefcase, and chewed through his pack of juicy fruit gum. His 10-speed bike had a leather tool case, a fitted satchel with snaps that attached under the seat. There was tape on the satchel, tape on the seat, tape on the handlebars. Plus, the seat was too tall for my legs. I rode it anyway. Fell, got hurt. Did it again. If there had been someone to see me try and fail, some kind of witness, it might have gone better. A watcher. A scout for the scout. There never is one, you know. What would that other scout have seen? Me, the girls, all of us. Being pulled toward a fan and socks on a well-oiled floor.
Star. I never was a whore. I did work as a stripper at a place called Eddie's Topless. This was in 1996, when I was 23. The best thing about a job in a titty bar is that you get to make up a fake name. I went with Star. Eddie's Topless took up the first floor of a stucco Tudor house out in Queens, New York, close to LaGuardia Airport. It was bottom rung, seedy. Let's go back there, to a May afternoon. The bar was mostly empty, as usual. I went on stage barefoot, in a frilly vintage nightgown, and slowly pulled it over my head. Underneath, I was already down to my thong. I only had one. It was made of black cotton, stretched and faded. I played a horny, depressive housewife. Natalie, the bartender manager, found this act amusing. 2 guys walked in and sat at a front table. When I came down from the stage, a wooden platform covered with filthy red carpeting, Natalie dragged me over. "Can Star join you?" The men looked up. Boys, really. Like me, they were in their early 20s. "Hi, Star," said one of them. "I love your fake name." Fake name? Huh. What was my real name then? Catchy. "Are you okay?" asked Natalie. "Oh, yeah," I said. "It's just, I know these guys." But they didn't know each other. Or they weren't supposed to. One was my older brother, Gordon. The other was Max, my best friend in New York City. "Cute friends," said Natalie. "Friends still have to buy drinks." Gordon wiped his forehead with the sleeve of his button-down shirt. Natalie moved off, and Gordon looked like he might cry. I dropped into a chair. "What the hell are you doing here?" "You have to come home. I'm not leaving here without you." "This is stupid," I said. "Max, you shouldn't have brought him here." "Come back to Virginia Beach with me," said Gordon. "Dad says he'll pay for film school." "I didn't know you applied to film school," said Max. "I'm not doing this." I ran off upstairs. The dressing room smelled like cockroach spray. I pulled off my blonde wig and stared at myself in the mirror. My short brown hair was self-cut, chaotic. My face looked fat and puffy. The face of a girl who lives in a submarine. We kept going down. And then we would go deeper from there and farther into the black, cold, unknowable places. This required us to submerge with our main vents open. The seawater rushed into the ballast tanks, allowing us to sink. To resurface, we would have to push the water back out of our holes. Ascent. It takes a lot of force and power. Better to stay on the surface in the first place, like my friends from Brown. These girls, they were my first friends in New York, all managed to live periscope deep. They shared taxis, found promising internships, and lived in dormant buildings. I was at Eddie's, with my ass in the air.
Smushed bug. Star, come back! You're in a dark place. Star jolts upright. Bursts of violet, red, yellow, and orange.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?